Hello and welcome back to TechNuovo. My name's Steph and today we're going to be running through another OBS tutorial where we're going to be taking a look at multicam streaming. And what I mean by this is having multiple webcams set up all around your system to give you different perspectives and different viewpoints on what you want to be focusing on when playing games or playing board games or doing a podcast or just chatting, that kind of thing. So without further ado, let's jump into the tutorial. So we've just jumped into OBS. Now I'm using OBS Studio, but the same can apply if you're using Streamlabs as well. Now, as you can see, I have a bunch of scenes that are already set up on the left here for my streaming or when I was streaming over on Twitch. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to add a brand new scene. So I'm going to right click here, go to add and call this multicam tutorial scene, just so I know what it is. So now, as you can see, I've just got a completely blank canvas. And what I like to do first is I like to add a background. Now, I have already designed one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to sources, right click that, go to add, go down to image, and then choose create a new image called background border. And what I've done here is I've just created a very simple multicam overlay. Now, to get that image file, click browse, multicam overlay, and there you go, there it is on the canvas. Secondly, what you're going to need to do is start adding your video capture devices. So if you right click again, go to add, go to video capture device. Now I have already got an existing camera here, as you can see in my scenes, but we will go through creating a fresh one from scratch as well, a fresh source from scratch. So I've got the Repu camera here, and there you go. I am now massive because the camera is capturing at a larger resolution than the canvas on OBS. So all you need to do is just put that into place, and as you can see, the camera is actually covering up the border. So if you go to your sources, drag it under your background border, you can then see the border has remained and the camera is now sitting behind the actual border. So just move your canvas around. What you can do is if you hold down the control, you get that smooth motion without it actually snapping to the sides. So now I'm not holding down control and you can see it snapping. Holding down control and you get free reign on where the camera or the actual source goes. So just move that into position and you are good to go on there. The first camera has been added. So I'm going to need to add the other cameras that I have sitting around at my desk, of which there are 3 more cameras, so 4 in total. So I'm going to right click, go to add, go to video capture device, and I'm going to call this Logicam 1. Click OK. As you can see, when you do select a new source, you get a choice of where you want to capture your video, what was it called, video display device from. So drop down under the device, you can see I've got my game capture, which is my Elgato capture card I've got inside of my desktop, and you can see I've got 3 Logitech C270 webcams here. So I'm going to add the first one. It's going to show up in the preview window here. Now, as you can notice, it is like a square resolution. I'm not sure on the exact resolution actually of this camera, but I can go down to the resolution, FPS type, change that to custom, change the resolution to 1280 by 720, and then it will give me a nice 16:9 aspect ratio on the display here. So click OK. I've added that as another device, and again exactly the same. Make it as small or as large as you want, and then drag the Logitech camera underneath the background border, so the background border shows up on over your webcam, and then it looks all nice and neat inside the design there. What you can do, as I can appreciate this is rather small, a small area to work with, is if you right click the actual canvas, go to windowed projector preview, it opens up this secondary window here. Now what I like to do is full screen that, bring my OBS to the forefront, move it across, and then you've just got a larger area to play with here. And as you can see, you can move that around and you can actually see where you're lining things up to. The bottom isn't quite lined up to the bottom of the webcam, so again, hold down the control to get those micro movements. And the reason I've done this top-down camera above me is because people might want to see what I'm pressing when I'm playing certain games. My mouse movements here, people might want to see what I'm actually doing when playing games, so that's why I've just included a top-down there. So adding the third camera, if you right-click your sources again, go to Add Video Capture Device. Let's call this Logitech. Actually, let's keep it all the same. Logicam 2. I'm going to choose the second C270 in my list here, and as you can see, if I just move this around a bit, it's just a closer perspective of the original Rapoo camera I used. Again, going down to a custom resolution, change that to 1280 by 720, and click OK there. And again, it's now here being displayed in my canvas and also in my preview window behind my OBS. Move that underneath the background border and it will bring everything, it will bring it right to the back. And then again, just line it up. Hold down the control button to get a smoother movement on the actual source itself. So there you go. We've got one camera just here. We've got this camera coming down up here, and then we got camera number 3 directly ahead of me. And then if you are using a multi-camera setup, what I have seen people do on Twitch before is show, like, I don't know, videos and live streams of their cats and dogs and pets and things like that. So we're just going to put another camera in there just to highlight that. I haven't actually got a pet. Unfortunately, I've not got a pet running around here, so I am using a little figure that I've got on one of my shelves. Again, I'm just going to right click, go to add, go to select source, create a new source called Logitech Camera 3. Choose the third C370 there, and there you go. I have a Cartman camera. What I've also got to do, sorry, I completely forgot, is again go to a custom resolution. Change that to 1280 by 720. Now, if your webcam automatically broadcasts in a 16:9 aspect ratio, then you'll be absolutely fine. You won't need to do that step, but because these are a very, very cheap Logitech webcams, just purchased for the purpose of this tutorial, then yeah, you've got to change that resolution. If you want the 16:9 aspect ratio, if you wanted the 1280 by 960, which is the square, I think it's 4:3. I think so. The 4:3 aspect ratio, then you can do. Again, drag that underneath the background border there, and then move my OBS window over to the left a bit, and then I can just line that up perfectly within the border that I created. Now, this border, or the webcam frame, should I say, was just something I threw together inside of Photoshop. It's very, very easy to do. It is a good idea just to get these muted off. I like to turn them down and mute them, and the reason being is if you're live streaming, then none of the webcam microphones are going to be picking up your voice, and we'll go through adding a voice in a moment. So I'm just going to add my game display. So I'm just going to right click, go to add, go to game capture. I've already got an existing game capture, which is on my other stream here. So I'm just going to use that. So once that's in, again, drag that to the bottom. So the camera and the borders are all above the game capture, so nothing gets covered up. And inside of game capture, you've got the choice to capture any full screen application, capture a specific window, which is what I leave it on most of the time, or capture foreground window with a hotkey. So click on that. At the moment, it's showing up as Vermintide 2, which is the last game that I played and I streamed and recorded with, but we'll go through changing that in a moment. And then the final thing I need to add is a voice. Now, I have got a Go XLR Mini on my desk, and I have got a tutorial on how I've set that up on the channel as well, so make sure you go and check that out if you need to know how to do that. You're essentially capturing an audio input, and this can be used for the Go XLR if you're using a Go XLR, if you've got a gaming headset and you want to use the microphone, a mod mic, that kind of thing, or if you've got something like this, which we are going to be taking a look at some point over the next week or so, so stay tuned for that. If you've got a USB condenser microphone, on your desk, then you need to target that as an audio input capture. So once I've done that, I'm going to select my broadcast mix because I've already got an existing one, and there you go. There is your broadcast mix there, and then you can again adjust the volume on the output that you want, or you can mute it, but generally I have that active on there. So as you can see in the background, I have just opened up a game of Vermintide 2. So what I'm going to need to do is get that added to the actual OBS scene here. So where I've got my game capture, I just double click on that, and as I've got it set to a specific window, I just click the drop down here and I choose Vermintide 2, click OK, and then Vermintide 2 will appear on the canvas itself, and the webcams are still there because I put the game capture at the very back. And here you go, it's just a quick example of what it could look like inside of your game when you're playing and you've got some camera set up on the screen. Oh, I've got a bit of FPS lag there. Running at 82 FPS is absolutely fine. But as I say, it is definitely a new way of streaming, and definitely a nice way of getting a few different perspectives, especially the top down. I really like that idea that you can actually see what I'm pressing. And I mean, I'm not a pro gamer by any means, but certainly if you're some kind of speed runner, for example, it might be nice seeing how quickly they're tapping through their key inputs on their keyboard. So there we have it. That was a very quick tutorial on how to set up multiple cameras for your live stream, if that's something that you're into. Now, there are a few situations that something like this could work. For example, if you're playing some kind of board game and you wanted camera perspectives on everyone's face and on the board itself, or if you're doing a live podcast and you wanted to have a camera on everyone and then a wide camera to capture the entire room, that kind of thing, I can see it working really well on. So with that being said, thank you very much for checking out this video. If you did enjoy it, then please hit that like button. Please subscribe to keep up with our latest tech and gaming videos. And if you have any questions about how to do it, or if you're having any trouble, then please leave a comment down below. I will try and answer as many as I can, and if I don't know the answer, I will try and find out for you. But as I say, thanks very much for watching, and we will see you in the next tutorial.